Here, values of coefficient of volume expansion of some solids I am going to give. Suppose if you take aluminum, the aluminum will have a volume expansion which is equal to 7 into 10 power minus 5 per Kelvin. Here, if you consider the brass here, brass have 6 into 10 power minus 5 per Kelvin. And if you take iron, we know that aluminum expands easily when compared to this iron, and iron has a value of 3.55 into 10 power minus 5 kelvins. Here, whenever a substance is said to have more alpha value, that means it expands more when compared to the other substances for equal change in temperature. Now, if you take this glass, generally glass expands little when compared to these metals here, so which is equal to 2.5 into 10 power minus 5. We know that rubber does not expand that much when compared to the metals here. These are all metals, and glass is a non-metal, and hard rubber is also a non-metal. It is found that the hard rubber is having a value which is equal to 2.4 into 10 power minus 5 kelvins. Similarly, invar steel. Remember students, the invar steel, generally the wall clocks, generally if you see the old clocks here, so this is 12, 3, 6, 9 with a pendulum. These are the old type of wall clocks here. In these wall clocks, this is generally made of invar. Why it is made of invar? What happens if it is made of some other metal? You know that whenever temperature increases, especially in summers, when the temperature increases, the length of metals also increases. And in winter, when the temperature decreases, the length of the pendulum will decrease. Here, it will give the time by taking the time period of this pendulum that is oscillating about the mean position. It is found that the time period is given by 2 pi root L by G. So, time period of a pendulum depends on 2 pi times of root L by G. G value 9.8 constant, 2 constant, pi is equal to 22 by 7 is constant. So, time period depends on L. If the length of the pendulum is constant, always it will oscillate with the constant time period. If the length of the pendulum increases in summer or decreases in winter, then the time period will change. Whenever the time period changes, automatically what happens? The time that is showing in this wall clock also changes. So it is found that invar has the least temperature coefficient, that is least volume expansion of solids in all the metals, and it is found to be 2 into 10 power minus 5 per Kelvin. So this is alpha V. Now, but here we are going to measure only the length only. So what is alpha L for this one? Alpha L is alpha V by 3, that is 2 into 10 power minus 5 by 3, 0.66 into 10 power minus 5 per Kelvin. So when compared to this aluminum, brass, iron, invar is said to have, this is an Li, that is a combination of two or more metals here. So this Li is said to have least alpha value among all the metals. That's why all these pendulums in wall clocks are made of invar steel only. And now the remaining liquids are here in this list, mercury as well as this water. We know that solids expands less, whereas liquids expands more here. And it is found that mercury has alpha value, this is 18.2 into 10 power minus 5 Kelvin. So based on these values, we can say liquids expands more than solids, and water expands more than this. This is having 20.7 into 10 power minus 5 kelvins. Now, if you consider the copper, it is found that if you see the variation of alpha V, this V with temperature, generally we consider this as a constant. But if you draw the graph between the temperature as well as alpha V, as alpha V is constant, we should get a graph like this. That means for any temperature, this value should be a constant. You should get a graph like this. But it is found that the relation between alpha V and temperature for copper is not a straight line parallel to time this temperature axis. That is, at 0 kelvins or at 250 kelvins or at 500 kelvins, if temperature increases, this alpha V being a constant, it should be a straight line parallel to this one. It should maintain a constant value. But the graph is not similar to this one, and the graph is constant up to some value. So after that, when the temperature increases, this value also increasing, and this is found that this is around 3 into 10 power minus 5. Let us say this is 6 into 10 power minus 5. This value is slightly less than 6, around 5.8 in this list. So for copper, this value increases like this, and then after 500 kelvins only, this almost a straight line parallel to temperature axis. So based on this one, what we can say, the alpha V changes with temperature for all these substances, and they remains constant only in a particular ranges, that is about 600 kelvins here. Then the alpha V remains constant for copper. So this is the variation of alpha V of copper with temperature. Applications of thermal expansion of solids. So after studying about this alpha L, alpha S, alpha V and different values here for different substances, that is solids and liquids. Now where we are going to use this expansion of solids in our daily life? The first one, a small gap is left between two rails. To allow expansion in summer. You might have seen this one while laying the railway track. Here this is the one rail and this is the other rail. So these two rails, while laying this one, these are the sleepers that are provided beneath this railway track. So while laying this track itself, they will keep some gap between these two rails, a small gap. This small gap is provided so that these rails may expand in summer. If this gap is not left here, what happens? So in summer, if they are joined together while laying, in summer due to expansion, they may buckle out and the accident may take place. So this is to allow the expansion in summer. The second one is, here I already told you, Invar steel, it is a alloy of iron as well as nickel. So here Invar steel is used to make pendulums, as alpha L for Invar is least among the alloys as metals, among the alloys, all alloys made of metals. Similarly, if you take this telephone wires, electric wires, they are loosely shunted here. Telephone or electric wires are shunted loosely so that they can contract in winter. So to allow this contraction, we are using this telephone wires, they are loosely connected here. Similarly, platinum is only used to seal the glasses, as alpha platinum is nearly equal to alpha glass. Suppose if we take a broken glass, to seal that gap, we will use platinum only, because this alpha for platinum is nearly equal to alpha for glass. So suppose if you use other than this platinum, some other metal or some other substance there, in summer or in winter, due to expansion in summer, if glass expands by a little bit, even the platinum should expand in the similar way. If we use some other material, gas may expand in a one manner. If the other material which is used to seal this glass expands in a different way, then once again you can see the crack and the gap in that pan. So that's why these are some of the applications of thermal expansion of solids. Now, if you consider water, water has one anomalous behavior, anomalous expansion or a peculiar behavior. So water has a peculiar behavior when the temperature changes. So we know that whenever temperature increases, generally the volume of the substances increases. As the volume increases, we know that density is equal to mass by volume. As volume increases, density decreases. So generally it happens for all substances, that is solids, liquids as well as gases. So whenever temperature increases, the volume of the substance will increase, but the density of the substance will decrease. It is noticed that if you take a cup of water here, this is a cup of water here, a small quantity of water, and here if you notice that the room temperature is 30 degrees Celsius and the volume of this one is, let us say, V. Volume of the water, this is water only, inside this cup of water is V. Now if it is reduced to 20 degrees, this new volume will be V minus delta V. That means the volume decreases by delta V1. So actual volume minus decrease in volume. Yet to 10 degrees also it is found that this is V minus delta V2. That means much more than this decrease. Now if it is 6 degrees, so let us say this is V minus delta V3. 5 degrees V minus delta V4, 4 degrees V minus delta V5. So as the temperature decreases, what happens to the volume of the water? The volume of the water is gradually decreasing. So after this, when the temperature reduces to 4 degrees to 3 degrees, it is found that V minus delta V5 plus delta V dash. So what happened here? This is the actual volume at 4 degrees, but now the volume has increased, but the temperature has decreased. 2 degrees centigrade, V minus delta V5 plus delta V double dash. 1 degree centigrade, V minus delta V5 plus delta V triple dash. And 0 degree centigrade, it is found that V minus delta V5 delta V4 dash dash dash. So here, generally if temperature decreases, volume should decrease. But there is a peculiar behavior under 4 degrees centigrade for water. That means water expands on heating and contracts on cooling as other substances. But the behavior of water is peculiar between this 4 to 0 degrees. When water is cooled from 4 degrees centigrade to 0 degrees centigrade. So I am cooling from 4 to 0. Here what is happening? The volume is increasing. So when water is cooled from 4 to 0 degrees, instead of contracting, water starts expanding. Similarly, if you see the reverse one, that means if we increase the temperature from 0 to 4, then instead of expansion, the water will contract. So the peculiar behavior of water between 0 to 4 degrees is called anomalous expansion. You draw the graph between the volume of water and temperature. So this is the volume, and this is the temperature of water, this is the volume of water. What happens to the behavior of water from 0 degrees Celsius? This is 0 degrees Celsius. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 like this. If you take these values here, so let me take this as 1 degree, 2 degree, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is in degrees Celsius. And here let me take the volumes here. Volume of the water. Generally volume is measured in meter cube, but here I am taking this into 10 power minus 3 meter cube. So volume not in meter cube, 10 power minus 3 meter cube. So now here I am going to write this as this is 1.0000, 1.0013, 1.0026, 1.0039 like this. So I am going to take these values. It is found that 0 degree centigrade, at 0 degree centigrade, the volume of this water is 1.0013 into 10 power minus 3. So this is the volume of the water at that is volume of water at 0 degrees Celsius is 1.0013 into 10 power minus 3 meter cube. And it is found that, as we know that, if you increase the temperature from 0 to 4, generally bodies expands on heating. But here water contracts on heating from 0 to 4. So up to 4 degrees, it is found that this is decreasing, it's a decreasing curve. So this curve meets at this point. So what is the volume of water exactly at 4 degrees Celsius? This is exactly equal to volume of water at 4 degrees centigrade is equal to 1.0000 into 10 power minus 3 meter cube. This is the volume of water at 4 degrees centigrade. So after that what happens? From 4 degrees centigrade to any temperature T degrees centigrade, water will not show this contraction. Water starts expanding and this curve will goes on like this. So if we observe this graph, we can say water has least volume at 4 degrees centigrade. So from this graph we can say the volume of water is least at 4 degrees centigrade. But we know that density is equal to mass by volume. When the volume is least at 4 degrees, the density of water is maximum at 4 degrees centigrade. Now I am going to draw a corresponding graph for density and temperature for water. So here also I am going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like this. These are degrees Celsius. So from this, if we draw the graph for this one, it is found that water will have maximum density at 4 degrees and its value is minimum on either side of 4 degrees. So the graph will be around like this. So after it will decrease. So what is the maximum value of density of water? It is found that generally we know that density of water is 1 kg per meter cube. So this is 1 kg per meter cube. You can write 1.0000, and if you take these values, this may be 0.9997 like this, 9998, 999 this one. So this will be 9992. So this value will be least at 0 degrees and on either side the density will be minimum. That means water has, or density of water is maximum at 4 degrees centigrade. This anomalous expansion of water will play a very important role in the environmental effects, especially in these lakes. What happens if you take this water on the lakes in a lake? So this is the water in a lake. When the temperature of water in cold countries falls to this 6 degrees centigrade or 5 degrees centigrade, so the upper surface which is in contact with the cold air will get the same temperature. When it falls to 4 degrees centigrade, when the temperature of the upper surface is 4 degrees, remember this water is not in a 4 degrees centigrade, so this will be at a high temperature 5 degrees, this may be 6 degrees, or it may be 10 degrees centigrade. So different layers of water will be at different temperatures, but the layer which is in contact with the air will have the same temperature of the atmosphere. When the temperature reaches this 4 degrees centigrade, you see this graph, at 4 degrees the density is maximum. So the upper surface will become more denser, this is a more denser layer when compared to the other layers. When the density is more, we know that density is equal to mass by volume. When the density is more, the volume will be less. So what happens to this upper layer of the water? As the density becomes maximum at 4 degrees, that is 1 kg per meter cube. As the density is maximum when compared to the densities on other sides, whether it is less than 4 degrees or more than 4 degrees, density always less than this value, that is 1 kg per meter cube. So now on either side, as the temperature is more here, its density will be less. So these are the less dense liquid layers, less dense water layers. So these less dense water layers will try to go up, will try to move up. So these layers will try to move up, but the upper surface which is in contact with the air will have more density. As the density is more, volume will be less, so they will try to shrink there and they will lose energy to the atmosphere. So they will lose the energy to the atmosphere and they shrinks into a small volume. So they shrinks into small volume. So due to this, what happens, as the temperature here is reducing from 6, 5, 3, 2 or 1 degree or 0 degrees, the upper surface is in contact with air and it freezes out. So this starts freezing on the top surface. But what about this water just below this layer? So this layer, these water having less density, they will try to go up. As the temperature reduces from 4 to 3, once again from 4 to 3, this surface will also become less denser. At 4 degrees only it has the maximum density. So when the temperature reduces to 3 degrees, this will also become less denser, and these water layers cannot go up beyond this limit. So why? Because it is going to convert into a ice. So slowly when temperature reduces to 0 degrees, it converts into ice, and as ice is a very bad conductor of heat, heat cannot flow from hot body to cold body. So here the atmospheric temperature is less and the temperature at the low bottom layers, so even these temperatures slightly decreases now, but this temperature will be maintained generally at 4 degrees. And due to this, the aquatic animals can survive easily. If the water don't have this property, what happens? The entire lake will freeze at a time, or maybe from bottom to top. So all these aquatic animals will die, and it will destroy all these. Not only the animals, even the aquatic plants inside the water will be destroyed by this freezing. In that, alpha V depends on temperature for copper. So we have drawn the graph also. The graph was like this. So this is alpha and this is temperature for copper. That means alpha depends on temperature for copper. But if you take the liquids, for liquids, alpha seems to be, that is alpha V, seems to be independent of temperature. So what about the alpha V in case of a gas? So for an ideal gas I am taking, for an ideal gas we can write PV is equal nRT. This is ideal gas equation. Now in this, if you differentiate this ideal gas equation, you can write we have this formula d by du of x into y is equal to, or d by dx of uv. This is a general formula in mathematics. This is u into dv by dx plus v into du by dx. Now here I am going to write, if you take pressure constant, so P into delta V plus V into delta P, same formula there, EV formula. We know that N is constant, R is constant, so differentiate only temperature here, delta T. So here, as dP is constant, P pressure is constant, dP will become 0. So this expression after differentiation, so by differentiating the above equation, P into delta V is equal NR into delta T, equation 1. Now in this case, if you divide this with the volume on both sides, what you are going to get? Divide with the volume on both sides. You can write this as delta V by V is equal NR into delta T by V. So let me bring this P from here to here, this will become PV. So what is this change in volume by virgin volume? We can call it as a fractional change in volume of a gas, which is given by NR delta T by, but according to ideal gas equation, PV can also be written as nRT. So I am going to write this as nRT. So this NR and NR get cancelled. So here, what is delta V by V here, which is equal to delta T by T. But I am talking about alpha V here. For a gas, what is alpha V? That is a fractional change in volume by original volume into change in temperature. Now, if you bring this change in temperature here, you can write this as delta V by V into delta T is equal to 1 by T. So this you can write it as change in volume by original volume into change in temperature. This is a coefficient of volume expansion of a gas, which is given by 1 by T. So this is the value for volume coefficient of expansion. This we call it as volume, because this is change in volume, original volume. Volume coefficient of expansion of a gas. Similarly, suppose while differentiating, if we take the volume of the gas is constant, so delta V will become 0, then this same expression can be written as here. If you take this one, PV is equal to nRT, by differentiating this with respect to this one, we are going to get P delta V plus V delta P is equal NR delta T. Let us say the volume of the gas is constant. So in this I consider pressure of the gas is constant, change in pressure is 0. Let us say volume is constant, change in volume is 0. V into delta P is equal NR into delta T divided with P on both sides. So this will become delta P by P is equal NR delta T by PV. That is NR delta T by PV is nothing but once again nRT cancel. So delta P by P into delta T will become 1 by T. So this is a change in pressure by original pressure into change in temperature. So if you divide the change in volume by original volume into change in temperature, we call it as volume coefficient of expansion of a gas. So this is called a pressure coefficient of expansion of a gas. You can see whether it is volume coefficient or pressure coefficient, both are equal to 1 by absolute temperature of that gas. So what is the meaning of this one? Alpha V inversely proportional to temperature. Whenever temperature increases, it is found that the volume coefficient of expansion of a gas decreases. Similarly, here I am denoting this with alpha beta. So this is pressure coefficient, or in some books it is given as alpha P. That is a pressure coefficient of expansion of gas, which is also equal to 1 by T. So here also whenever temperature increases, the pressure coefficient of expansion of gas always decreases. So these two are inversely proportional to each other. So the corresponding graph is whenever temperature increases, either alpha V or alpha P always decreases. So this is a rectangular hyperbola. Already we discussed this in the previous class. So the alpha V, that is volume coefficient of expansion of gas, as well as pressure coefficient of gas always decreases with temperature, but here we have to consider only the absolute temperature.